they laughed. When you fell, when you failed, when you struggled to find your way, they laughed at your dreams, mocked your silence, turned your pain into their punchline. They laughed when you were weak, when you doubted yourself, when you stood on shaking legs, trying to hold yourself together while the world pushed you down. They saw the cracks in your armor and smiled, because to them, you were just another person too fragile to fight back. But storms don't start as thunder. They start as whispers, a shift in the air, a flicker behind the eyes. And while they laughed, you were transforming. You didn't need their applause. You didn't need their approval. You needed the pain. You needed the humiliation. You needed to be broken just enough to finally say, never again. Because that laugh, that smug, dismissive, venom-laced laugh, it didn't break you, it rebuilt you. You turned their mockery into motivation, their rejection into rocket fuel. Every smirk, every side comment, every moment they dismissed you, you carried it with you, not as bitterness, but as ammunition. They thought you were soft. They mistook your silence for surrender. They thought you were finished. They had no idea that you were just getting started. Because real transformation, it happens in the dark, when no one is watching, when the crowd stops cheering and the laughter fades. That's where the storm brews. That's where fire is born. You trained in silence. You healed in secret. You clawed your way back, inch by inch. And when no one was watching, you stopped bleeding and started sharpening. Now they don't laugh. They watch, confused, threatened, shaken. Because the storm has arrived, and it has your name on it. You're no longer the person they remember. You're not the version of yourself that tolerated disrespect, that accepted less, that stayed quiet to keep the peace. No. Now you are the disruption. Now you walk into rooms with the weight of everything they tried to bury you under, and own it. You don't just survive now, you dominate. You destroy the expectations they built around your silence. You become the reckoning. And here's the truth. They never hated you. They feared you. They feared what you could become if you ever stopped doubting yourself. If you ever found your fire. If you ever looked in the mirror and saw what they saw. Power. So they laughed. Because fear often wears the mask of mockery. But they don't laugh now. Now they flinch when they hear your name. Now they remember every moment they belittled you and realize they were feeding the very force that would one day rise and tower over them. You don't even need revenge. You don't need the drama. You don't need the noise. You just keep moving, keep creating, keep rising. Because the best way to silence the mockery is to become undeniable. Let your results scream what your voice never had to say. Let your peace disturb their chaos. Let your growth haunt the ones who laughed when you were down. You don't explain anymore. You don't defend. You don't seek closure from the ones who created your scars. You walk past them, unbothered, unshaken, unreachable. Because you didn't just get back up, you became something they can't touch anymore. The storm isn't loud because it wants to be. It's loud because of what came before. Because before the winds, there was stillness. Before the thunder, there was silence. Before the lightning, there was darkness. Just like you. You were still. You were quiet. You were broken. But you weren't done. And now they see you coming. And there's nothing they can do to stop it. You don't want to hurt them. You just want to exist so fully, so powerfully, that your presence alone reminds them of the moment they could have supported you, but chose to laugh instead. Let them feel it. Let them sit with the weight of what they gave up on. Let them taste the regret of betting against someone who was never weak, just wounded. Because that's the thing about storms. They never forget the skies that tried to contain them. And you were never meant to be silent forever. You were never meant to stay small. You were always meant to rise, to roar, to shake the ground beneath the feet of those who doubted you. They created the storm, and now they have to live in it. So let them talk, let them whisper, let them pretend they weren't part of what made you. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them a warning. Your existence is the answer. Your elevation is the consequence. They thought you were finished, but storms don't end. They change the landscape. And you're not here to fit in anymore. You're here to redefine. You're here to walk through the ashes of everything they destroyed and build something so massive, so unshakable, so real, that even if they never say it out loud, they'll know they laughed until you became the storm.